again, Panther fans, and welcome into Georgia State Football Weekly as the Panthers head into Week 3 in the college football season. Dave Cohen joined by Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles. And Coach, heading to Week 3, going to take on an Air Force Falcon team. They're coming in after a loss to Wyoming on the road, and pretty good football team as you get ready to play them.
Good football team, well coached. Troy does a great job. Obviously, difficult scheme, and a very, very disciplined football team that plays with great passion and aggressiveness and attitude. So we've got our work cut out for us. It'll be the toughest game we've had so far.
And we're going to preview the Air Force game coming up in our second segment. As you mentioned earlier in the week, it was kind of like hitting the reset button after a disappointing loss last Saturday to New Mexico State.
Yeah, very, very disappointing. We felt we had an opportunity to win the game. We didn't play our best football, and we still took the lead at the end and just weren't able to hang on to it. And had some things we wish we'd do over again, but you don't get that. So you got to hit the reset button and go to the next week.
Number one.
I stole that line from Tim Lopano. I just want to make sure I'm not taking credit for the reset button. That was the thing that Calvin Johnson, a Megatron, stood up in a team meeting and said to Detroit last year. So that's and Tim Lopano gets credit for that. I want to be considered plagiarizing.
Coach Lopano, the wide receivers coach here at Georgia State. Before we go to the highlights of the New Mexico State game, first and foremost, and you said this in the post-game press conference, you got to hold on to the football. Four turnovers is going to make it tough to win games.
Yes, 4 turnovers and still scored 31 points.
Yeah.
Imagine those 4 possessions if we hang on to the ball, you know, what might have been. You know, we've had 7 turnovers in 2 games, and those are 7 possessions that are just wasted away. And we're still averaging over 30 points a game. So we like to think that our ceiling's pretty high on offense if we just hang on to the ball and execute what we do. There's so much more out there for us as far as points and yards, but you can't get them if you don't hang on to the football.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights. Week 2 in the Georgia Dome, Georgia State Sun Belt Conference opener. Panthers coming out onto the field, getting ready to coach, take on New Mexico State.
Yeah, we start here, and a good pass here from Nick Arbuckle to Donovan Harden. Excellent slant route, and Donovan's got the speed. You know, we got a 15-yard penalty there, which is unacceptable. So Donovan's paying a price for that, but can't draw attention to ourselves. Great job here by Shannon Sullivan covering the kickoff. True freshman, doing an excellent job for us in the secondary, and it's going to get better each weekend. Here we got Nick making a great throw from our own end zone out to Robert Davis, big gainer. You know, like to have gotten Robert more involved in this game. But Nick made a good throw on the run and on target. Here we get a turnover. And speaking of turnovers, our defense generated a few early. I thought our defense was outstanding in the first half. Our offense put them in bad situations towards the end of the half. But we really did a good job of rallying, causing turnovers. Good strip right there. Again, Shannon Sullivan, freshman on the recovery. Offense taking over, and we'll get a nice run here by Christian Hammond. What we call a 9-gang play right there, where we get it outside, toss it outside and go. And Christian does a good job putting his foot down and getting vertical. Here again, Nick back, making a really good throw here outside to Avery Sweeting. Big yardage, getting us down into scoring range for a first down. Then Nick coming back again, same play, getting it outside. Christian being able to turn the corner and then break a tackle with the this beginning of the second half. Break a tackle off the corner and go 54 yards for a touchdown. I thought he ran extremely well, and hopefully, you know, those are the things he does week in and week out. Again, defense doing a really good job here of getting to the quarterback on the read zone. We call that pit read. Schwanee does a great job, and again, we had him designed to get outside on in this game. And Christian again breaking tackles, doing a good job holding on to the ball, getting a good chunk of yardage there. Come back, and Nick's able to find, this is late in the game, Nick's able to find Robert down by the goal line on the Omaha route, a quick out, and we got us into a fourth down and inches. We still could have got a first down inside the 1 yard line, but we chose to go QB sneak, and we got it in, and like to have thought that was enough to win the game, but we weren't able to hold them, and they give them credit, give New Mexico State credit for going down and executing and winning the game. But, you know, that's one of those ones that you feel like you should have held on and won, and you can't get them back. So, you know, when you get those opportunities, you got to take advantage of it, and you're teaching a young team how to win, but at the same time, we've got to put them in positions to win.
All right, Georgia State and Air Force coming up in week 3 at the Georgia Dome. Panthers starting out the year with 3 consecutive home games. We'll come back and talk more with Coach Miles as we preview the Air Force Falcon game. We're back with more right after this.
Okay, when you're on the job, you're making tough decisions around the clock. Well, here's an easy one. Ford F-Series. It's a fact. On average, every 42 seconds, someone forks over their hard-earned cash to get one. Just like that. And that. And that. No wonder they're the best-selling brand of trucks in America for 37 years in a row. Hey, there goes another one. See you in 42. Ford F-150. Ford Super Duty. #1 for 37 years straight.
Welcome back to Georgia State Football Weekly. Dave Cohen with Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles. We've seen the highlights of the New Mexico State game. All attention turned now to week 3 as the Panthers get ready to welcome in the Falcons of Air Force Academy into the Georgia Dome. And, you know, it's a team that comes in at 1-1, but as you said earlier in the week in your press conference, a very, as expected, disciplined football team.
Yeah, well, again, well coached. Troy does a great job. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to play with great effort. They're going to play together. They're going to play with discipline. They're going to line up right, and they're talented. Throw all of that out the window. They've got good football players. So when you add that in to good football players, it makes it very difficult. So we're going to have to play the best we've ever played to have a chance to be with them in the fourth quarter. I say that quite a bit, but it's the truth. You know, we're still what people don't realize, we're still a very young football team. Don't have very many seniors at all, and our kids are mostly freshmen and sophomore, and they're getting better in a hurry, and we better get really good in a hurry to be able to compete with Air Force. So we've got to learn discipline of ourselves, of being able to hold on the football and line up right and execute just to be in the football game.
A little bit of a misconception when people talk about Air Force being a running football team and the triple option. I mean, they're a little bit more maybe multi-dimensional than people might think.
They have a very good quarterback, very good athlete. They've got some good guys on the perimeter. They will throw the football. They're not going to come in here and run it 85 times. Mm-hmm. You know, they will mix it up. If you look at their stats against Wyoming, they throw the football. Sometimes, you know, you get behind, you have to throw it more than you want. And don't get me wrong, they are a running football team.
Right.
They will do all different types of the option. But they do throw the football also, so you can't go to sleep on it. And all of a sudden, you think it's an option, and you come up, and the guy goes right by you, and he's wide open. So, you know, you've got to play with a lot of eye discipline. And you got to play with hand and feet discipline because they'll cut you. Yeah. And you're not used to seeing that scheme, and guys, all of a sudden, your eyes are on the ball carrier and the quarterback, and all of a sudden a receiver comes and cuts you on the perimeter. So you got to learn how to play off. We spent a lot of time this week teaching them how to play off cuts and get to the football, but also keeping your eyes on your guy in case he slips and goes out for a pass. So, you know, we got our hands full.
Obviously, one stat you always look at is time of possession. And with a team like this, that is primarily a pretty good running football team, time of possession is a big stat.
It's a big stat. You know, they eat up the clock, and so you have very few opportunities. You have less opportunities than you normally do. Yeah. And so we should be used to that since we've been turning the ball over so much and taking away our own opportunities. But, you know, we've got to score when we have the football. And we can't waste opportunities because each possession is vital.
You know, you mentioned just a minute ago how young this football team is, and even going back to a year ago when you took over, the fact that you were playing freshmen, as many as you played a year ago, you start little by little to see the fruits of your labor of playing the young guys and getting them on the field and getting them, you know, used to playing Division I Sun Belt Conference football.
Yeah, and I think our kids have, you know, we've had some moments. Our kids play well. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at our film, our kids are good football players. They're young, but they're good football players, and that's why we've had a chance. We could be sitting here at 2-0. I mean, if we take care of business. So, you know, that says a lot. That's a huge gain from where we were. Yeah. And, you know, our kids are growing every day and getting better, and hopefully we continue to grow and it continues to turn into more wins. But people got to learn the word patience.
Well, Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck against Air Force here in week 3, and we'll talk to you right here next week.
Thank you.
All right, I want to thank Coach Miles joining us here on Georgia State Football Weekly. Stay with us. We're back with more right after this.
Got him in group as a go.
Yes! Not just a startup, an upstart.
Got to get going. Got to be good.
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 Growth is the goal. How do we do that?
I talked to UPS. They'll help us out. New technology, smart advice. We focus on the business and they take care of the logistics.
UPS.
Good going.
We get good. That's great.
Great. Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
I love logistics.
Welcome back to Georgia State Football Weekly as we change direction from Trent Miles to the volleyball head coach, Sally Polhamus. And Sally, great to have you here. And a busy time now as you guys are kind of just out of the gate, just back from Jacksonville. 1-3 on the year, and just starting to fire up the volleyball season. Talk a little bit about where you guys are to this point.
Well, we are having some of our players really emerge in our lineup. Eliza Zachary, Kita Janaku, Didi Bohannon. And so we're getting more and more players stepping up, leaders, go-to players. Our defense is starting to come together. So we're constantly moving in the right direction. It's putting it all together that we're looking forward to doing.
Well, Georgia State's volleyball team just back from Florida. Of course, who doesn't like a road trip to Florida? You got down to Jacksonville, a win over Bethune-Cookman, and some close matches with North Florida and the host Dolphins.
Yes, we went 2 matches, 5 sets, and we were able to get the win against Bethune-Cookman, and it could have gone either way versus Jacksonville. We made some critical mistakes in that 5th set, and we're really focusing this week and practicing on finishing. And so when we see the match coming to an end, really making sure our sets are going to our go-to players and they're executing.
Let's talk about some of those go-to players. You mentioned Eliza Zachary. When I was looking at stats, 39 kills, 8 blocks. So she's really stepping up and making some big plays for you guys.
Yes, first of all, our passers are getting her the ball. That's the biggest thing with any middle, is having the pass that allows us to set our middles. And Natalia Nieto, she's doing a great job finding Eliza. In volleyball, you want to move along the net, and you have a lot of offensive weapons when you can move to different zones on the net. Eliza's a fast athlete, and she worked so hard this summer on her arm swing, and she's reaping the benefits of all of her hard work.
Yeah, you mentioned Natalia Nieto, 41 assists, and you being in your first year at Georgia State, it's a process from a coaching standpoint of getting them to know and understand and embrace their roles.
Yes, and so not only their roles, but the IQ of the game and the progression of training. And so with Eliza, she, in her last 2 years, was really a single kind of element hitter. She hit just behind a little bit, mostly in front of the setter. Now she can hit all along the net, so she's very diverse in her offense. Didi Bohannon has done a great job of becoming a 6 rotation player. That's a lot of work to pass and hit and play all 6 rotations. So she's really stepping up her game, and defensively we have a lot of competition defensively on the court.
All right, we're talking Georgia State volleyball with Sally Polhamus, and who doesn't like a trip to Boone, North Carolina, especially this time of year? It's kind of fall before we get into the cold weather up there, and that's exactly where Georgia State will be heading next. You're going to be at the Appalachian State Tournament up in Boone. App State obviously hosting Radford and Maryland.
Yes, a very tough tournament. All of them have significant wins. Radford just beat Cal, which is also receiving top 25 ranks. App State is around 32 in the poll. And so Maryland is undefeated this season, so a great tournament to come into. App State will lead off with our first conference match, and that's their first Sun Belt Conference match. So for their host school, which is a lot of fun. So we know it's going to be a great environment. They have some key players that we need to definitely try to slow down. Shut down would be great, but we're really focusing on our side of the net and executing our game plan.
Of course, right around the corner after Boone is the Sun Belt Conference. So
full on, yes.
Well, best of luck. Appreciate you joining us, and we'll be watching.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks to Sally Polhamus, head volleyball coach at Georgia State. And we'll take a timeout. We'll get back with more right after this on Georgia State Football Weekly.
We are Georgia State.
Atlanta is our home.
We've grown more than anyone thought we would.
And we're not done yet.
The time is now, Panther family.
It's time to unite.
It's time to build.
2,000 PAC members by 2017.
Join the Panther family. Join the PAC today.
Welcome back to Georgia State Football Weekly. Again, the Panthers getting ready to head into Week 3 at the Georgia Dome, going to take on the Falcons of Air Force. And, of course, fans don't often get the opportunity during the week to take in Georgia State football practice, but it's always very interesting to see how this team prepares week in and week out. And our Panther Vision cameras right now are going to take you behind the scene in our Mic'd Up segment, and this week with assistant coach Shannon Jackson.
Another opportunity, fellas, another opportunity. That's all you can ask for. Make sure we arm over the last bag, all right? Arm over. Let's go. Quick hands. Quick strike. Quick strike. I don't want anybody on the ground, fellas. I don't want anybody on the ground. Same thing now. Get to last back. Make sure we rip now. Rip, rip, rip.
Well, Coach Jackson is more of a laid-back coach, but he demands basically greatness out of us for us to do everything right, for our fundamentals to be on point. So he's a really great coach.
A little bit better from day one, all right? But I expect you to get better, all right? Where's that tenor at that was in the spring, all right? Bring it back. Hey, make sure I explode into the ball carrier, all right? Make sure I be strong with my inside leg. Make sure I want to club up and through, all right? Get your eyes across, all right?
Oh, yeah, he definitely gets some energy. Whenever the D-line makes plays, he's always hyped up. He'll always be the first one to be hyped up. So he's a funny guy when he wants to be, but you really have to be around him more to notice it.
Every now and then, okay, you need a little church in the morning, get you going. Didn't look the same with us yesterday, man. I don't know what was going on. You going today a little bit? I'm with you.
He just taught me more to just play really hard and play through, even through the whistle, and just make sure my fundamentals are really sound so that I can get off blocks or, take on a double team and just make sure that the linebackers, whenever they need it, just take up blockers and just make sure everything's all right with them.
Hit! Be strong with the inside leg. There it is. There it is. Run through. Okay, get your eyes across. Hey, come closer. Right there. Sit.
Thanks to assistant coach Shannon Jackson for agreeing to participate in our Mic'd Up segment. Look forward to other assistant coaches participating with us as we move along during the season. Big weekend this week for Georgia State. Again, the Falcons of Air Force coming in. And as Coach Miles told us earlier in the show, the key, got to hold on to the football. Can't turn the football over. 7 turnovers in the first 2 games. Panthers are 1-1. Offense is performing nicely, averaging 34 points a game. Defense anchored by Joe Peterson, coming off a great game against New Mexico State with a team-high 15 tackles. So again, as Coach said, got to hold on to the football. Thanks for watching. It's Georgia State Football Weekly with head coach Trent Miles.